about our past and start thinking about our identity today. That nobody talks about how ugly the beginnings are.
Sometimes following your passion is the worst advice you can get.
There is no such thing as Islamic architecture. The best architecture is the architecture that respects the contexts of the area.
Where is that struggle to go and seek knowledge? It's not there.
How should our characters, our identity be reflected in our living environments?
We are essentially copy-pasting the Western models. We feel we are a defeated civilization. Zeina, I'm so glad you accepted the invitation to be on the podcast. Thank you so much for taking out your time.
Thank you for hosting me.
You're welcome. So I just want to jump right back in. You moved from Syria to Turkey at the age of 15, right?
Mhm.
So how did that shape you as a person?
Well, it did a lot because like I came from Aleppo, and Aleppo, okay, it's the second largest city in Syria, but it's still a more conservative city. So I came from a very, let's say, small, controlled, uh, only like I used to be only with my family, my friends who are from the same background, same social background, same financial background. So it was a very controlled or small niche environment. Then when we came here to Istanbul, it was like as if someone just threw me again to life. It was as if it's a second birth. When we first came here, I started in a school. It was because like we didn't know how much time we'll be spending here. So my father registered us in a Syrian school. It was just a temporary school because like we were going back. It was only for 3 or 4 months until the war, until the situations there will settle down. And that was my first time to meet people from different states in Syria. So it was at first was only Aleppo. Then in that school, I met people from Damascus, from Homs, from Hama, from different areas, from different backgrounds. Uh, that was my first shock to be able to live among these different people. It really shaped me as a person because like I started to see and get to know people and get to know their background stories and be shaped from their stories and be part of that community. After that, so it was my first time. It was from a small town in Aleppo into Istanbul and a school with different people from different backgrounds in Syria. Then at university, that circle expanded to be to like even have people from different countries, from different backgrounds, from different religions, from different ethnicities. This transformation has really shaped me as a person and as a to-be architect, to be able to really uh, understand people and just like understand their backgrounds, see their stories, be part of their stories, accept them for who they are, and that's helped me accept myself for who am I. So yeah, it shaped me really good because like I don't know what person I would be today if I never left Syria and stayed in Aleppo for like the last 12 years.
You mentioned you met people from different states of Syria after you came to Turkey. So I'm just curious, what would you say, which state or people from which state are your favorite?
I think this is the common Syrian answer. It's
Okay.
Homs. We all love people from Homs.
Okay.
They are really so open-hearted people. They are so direct. They speak to your heart. They are so good people. So it's Homs. I think.
Actually, I have many friends from Homs, and to be honest, in Malaysia, because I was living there before, I actually grew up in Malaysia. So I had a lot of Syrian friends, almost from every state as well. There were so many Syrians. In fact, I lived with Syrians for almost 3 years.
Mm.
So my love for Syrian people and Syria started from that time. But you're right. I do have many friends from Homs, and they have a distinct
Mm.
character. Walk us through what led you to Memoria Studio.
Mm.
What problem were you trying to solve, and how did the idea come about?
I studied architecture in Istanbul, and I was a foreign student, an international student in the university. We were the first, like in my university in Bilgi, we were the first two foreign people who didn't speak at that time fully Turkish who entered the university. So it was a small shock for the teachers, for the staff, for the another students to be able to form a connection with us. Uh, because of the language, because that we came from a different backgrounds. We have hijab ons, and the place that I studied in wasn't that common to have it. So we didn't really fit in, and not being able to fit in really impacted our study, because like in architecture you study more from the people that are surrounding you, not only from books or professors. You study, you understand more with the assistants that they are there. They help you more because like they are always in the studio, they've been where you are, they can help you like pass stuff. And when we were at the school, we didn't have that help, and that really impacted our situation among all the other students. So that was the first clue for me, Maria. The second clue was that I graduated the year before COVID hit. So we were the last people to graduate before COVID. That's why when we wanted to start building our portfolio in architecture, we build portfolio in order to start applying for jobs. And to do that, you have two options: to work as a freelancer or to get into competitions. And we chose the second one, and we started entering with my friends, a group of friends, different architectural competitions. And there, when it hit us that in the Arab world there are really so low-key resources that talks about our architecture and our cities and our histories in urban history. We were working on a project in Baghdad, Iraq, and Baghdad is one of the oldest cities in the world. Like architecture itself has been born there. But we haven't been able to find any resources, and that made us mad that there's no resources about architecture in the Arabic or about Arab cities or Middle Eastern cities. And that was the second clue. So at that time, I was me alone. I had a blog about architecture where I talked about different case studies, different projects in Arabic. And I really liked the idea of creating content about architecture in Arabic. So after the competition and after graduating, I came with my two friends, and they are the co-founder of Mimaria, Batul and Tuqa, and told them, what do you think about if we opened uh, an architectural studio named Mimaria Studio? And at that time, we didn't know that what we are doing is entrepreneurship, and we didn't know that we are doing something that hasn't been done in the Arab world before. So we just wanted to help students who are in our university and in other different universities in Istanbul don't suffer like we did. That was the first clue. And the second one, we wanted to make more content about the Arab cities in Arabic, and we wanted to document, draw, create content about those cities in Arabic. And that's what started Mimaria Studio in its first version. It was an architectural studio that we did the freelance work, and we wanted in the site to do seminars, workshops, critiques for students.
There is something you mentioned about Middle Eastern, or I can even say Islamic architecture, which is a very rich legacy we have. But somehow somewhere we lost that connection. We lost that touch with, the beautiful architecture we have in the Arab world, in the Muslim world generally, and every region has its own styles. But now we go to any other, any country, we are essentially copy pasting the Western models.
Yeah.
And West has amazing architecture, but I'm talking about the modern architecture, which in my opinion, I'm not an expert in architecture, but in my opinion, it lacks that soul.
Yes. There's I think he's a Arab architect. I think he is the one who said this. His name
Okay.
is Nasser Ribat. He says there is no such thing as Islamic architecture.
Okay.
There's Muslim architecture, a group of Muslim in some period of time who designed or created urban cities or architecture. So when we start seeing this in this eye, we stop crying about our past and start thinking about our identity today as an Muslim architects and Muslim youth in the Arab world or in the Middle Eastern world or in the Islamic countries. How should our characters, our identity be reflected in our living environments? Me as a young, not that young, as a young architect, how my environment would be shaped with respect to my identity, to my practices, to my religion, to my day-to-day living experiences. This is the question that we should start asking ourselves. And I think because we stopped asking this question, we start looking for our glory past to like catch some of it. Because we had glory past, we had amazing cities, we had an amazing architecture and amazing designs, but we should stop crying over the past and start thinking about the present and our future, and ask the question of how our identities, characters should shape our living experiences as Muslim people, and that's when we can start seeing our characters in the environment.
Right. But I also feel there's a inferiority complex which so many Muslims or so many Arabs, face. For example, they would look down upon something which has been carried down from our past, and they would see Western models as superior.
Yes.
Which is not always the case. I mean, sure, West has, we have so much to learn from the West, but I think there's also that element. I think because we feel we are a defeated civilization at this moment, and the dominant civilization is obviously the West. So I think, and then that creates that imitation. You want to be like the dominant civilization, so you want to copy everything that they have, but at the same time you start to ignore or look down upon
ignore the context.
Yeah, the context, exactly. The context is very, very important. What worked in, let's say, in France during the Renaissance might not work in Egypt, for example, or Syria. The context is different, the culture is different, the people are different. So I think just trying to blindly copy paste models and trying to import these ideas without working on them, I think that leads to confusion. Because we see a lot of confusion. From my understanding, we are a very confused people.
I've read a discussion between architects the other day. They were talking about skyscrapers, okay, and how we just like started to make all glass skyscrapers in cities like Baghdad in Iraq, and Cairo in Egypt, and the climate there is not for this
Exactly.
objects, architectural
Yeah.
objects, because like you have a very high temperature times in these cities, because and now you have to put a lot of energy to just make the inner climate of these areas, of these objects, sufferable. Uh, so we just took them and we say, oh, skyscrapers is the idol of civilization, and if we only made skyscrapers with a long and stupid, not stupid, it's objectable, it's
Yeah.
objective
Yeah.
designs, then we are civilized countries.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, in architecture, that is not the case. We don't see our objects, and we don't criticize, or we don't even read objects in this way. The best architecture is the architecture that respects the contexts of the area that it's been building in, that respect the people that will be using these places, that respect even the texture and the material that is going to be used to build these objects. This is the good architecture, not just bringing a Western. And I just think about the wooden houses in America, and if we wanted to build them in some wood, and it won't work, or or building them in Syria, it won't work. So the best architecture, the architecture that respects, we say it in Arabic, and I don't know if I can translate it to English, the soul of the space. That's respect the soul of the place, the space that it's been designed to. So I think nowadays, maybe like 2 or 10 years ago, because of the Hadid effects on the Islamic world, it has been like more. We have been seeing this as sign of civilization, but now I don't think it's the case. People are more knowledgeable. People have more information about this stuff. Like we are seeing in Syria, and especially now in Damascus and Aleppo, a lot of people that are refusing some sort of designs, because like they are saying this is not suitable for us. You can't just come and build gated communities in Syria. This will not work here. We especially in Syria, we don't live in a small houses. This 2+1 or 3+1 doesn't work in Syria. We are big families. Even the small family is big family.
Yeah.
And we are families of families. So it's a place where more than 10 families will be gathered in every Friday. So you can't just come and sell us these houses. It won't
Yeah.
work. So I think people are more starting to be more informative about this stuff, and even refusing these designs.
That is really interesting because, I mean, when you have so much funding and money behind these projects, it's very hard to push back. It's very hard to say no, you know? So, I mean, if people are doing that in Syria, that's really amazing because
And that's not enough.
not enough.
It should be more.
Yeah. But, you know, people also have other priorities, I think, right now, you know? But it's, I mean, I think we need to be conscious, you know, we have to educate people, you know, which is the case in every field, but also architecture, you know, because that's what defines and that's what creates that unique identity of a place, right? It's the architecture. That's what you see.
And it's not just like buildings, it's not just blocks and
Yeah.
blocks and lighting. It's more than that. It's the place that shapes all our experiences. That this place that we exist in a daily basis. So it has to reflect our identities. Otherwise, we will, like we said before, we will start seeing the West and the only as the only idol, and we will lose our identities and characters, and that's not okay.
What were some of your major failures, and what are some of the major lessons you can share as a founder?
There are a lot of failures. We were just talking before the episode started about how that nobody talks about how ugly the beginnings are, especially in entrepreneurship world and being founders. Like, I feel like even when you read about the biography of a lot of founders, they don't speak the fully truth. And they don't say how much times and efforts and money and mental capability it takes to build something, and how hard is it to make big decisions. Like I've built Mimariya Studio and I've built it with my friends for 3.5 years, but I needed to make a big decision and leave 2 years ago because like it stopped being this thing that I was working for. So I think the major lessons is, one, to do not over expect the results to be done in like a small period of time. It takes time. It needs time to be built, and it's need time for you to be grown enough to see the problems. Because like for us, like in my case, it was my first job. It was my first time doing anything outside college and university. It was the first time of me interacting with the external world where my parents are not there. So I was growing as an individual and as a person, and at the same time I was trying to build a project. So I think don't be so hard on yourself, because like you're still learning, and people who speaks about entrepreneurship don't even often talks about the ugly beginnings. So it is ugly.
Don't fully trust them.
Yes. Yeah, and as we're talking about trust, you have to know who are the mentors you are like working with, and to really trust your intuition when when you feel like something is not clicking. So it's really, you need to be very careful about who you are listening to and who are the people who are like shaping your road, because and are they really the best persons or people to do this, or you need to start looking for another mentors. This, I think you have to, like, any idea, when you have any idea in your mind, you have to be very fast in moving it into a physical outcome. You have to build it. You have to build it first dimensions and test if this idea of yours is going to work in the world or not. Don't just get so emotionally attached to the idea and not see its results. So there's a lot of, like, I can do a whole episode about what I learned in as a person who worked in entrepreneurship world for 5 years, but there's a lot of stuff. Like for now, maybe I don't know yet what is the formula to build a successful project or a startup, but I know what are the mistakes that you should avoid in order to beat there.
Okay, so, but you mentioned a very important point. You said your passion started to fade as a founder, and I see this very often. So many entrepreneurs get very emotionally attached to their businesses, to an extent where they don't really see the reality. They see an idea, they imagine a future, but I think they're very disconnected from the reality. And
that's why it's important to have mentors who like speaks the truth to you.
True.
This is not working. You should ditch this idea. To be direct and speak the harsh truth.
It happened with me as well when I was trying to build my first venture. So emotionally, it was like a baby. You feel so emotionally attached. You feel to an extent where you're looking at the wrong metrics. You're at the end, it's a business. The metrics which matter first and foremost are the numbers. If there are no numbers, then it's a hobby. You can't really call it a business then, right?
There's a very important point. I think we should say it.
Sure.
That when you build anything, you have from the beginning to decide, are you doing this for the community or for the profits? Because when you're doing it for the community, that's a very different approach. That's an approach in entrepreneurship, or what they call social entrepreneurship. And when you're doing it for the profitability, that's the normal entrepreneurship. But you have to, this is a very distinct road that you have to know from the beginning. Because that was one of our mistakes in Mimaria, that we treated it as an entrepreneur project startup, when in fact it was a social startup. Our only concern was the architectural community, and we never really, in a very in today mindset, like in today's mindset, when I understand how we gain money from projects, we weren't even thinking about profitability, and we were just bootstrapping the project for like 3.5 years, and that's not a good strategy. So this is a very important point I think young entrepreneurs should be aware of.
Okay. So that brings me to my next question.
Mhm.
When do you think it's time for a founder to quit? It's a very tough journey. You will have times where you will feel very unmotivated. You wouldn't want to continue. But that's different from being aware of when to say enough, when to call it a day. So what would you say was that thing for you which made you say it's enough?
Well, when I started, like, what I wanted in life was not this, and I knew it from third or the second half year, but I wasn't able to detach myself from this, because like somehow I built my identity around this project, and leaving it started to feel like I'm leaving a very important part of myself, my baby, as we say. But it's like, it's not what I want to do. That's it. I want to learn how to build successful startups. I want to help people move from the 0 point to the 1 point, to be able to build their MVP, to launch their MVP. I want to learn how to do that, because like it was a very pain for me to not be able to do that for Mimaria, although it has a very good potential. Because like people in the beginning never told me that it's a social project. You have to do a very different strategy to continue it. And when I started to be aware of that, it was too late. Like I already tried a lot. Again, it wasn't only the project. At that time, I had a very mental problems, and I wanted that I needed my time off to be able to deal with them in a more sucking way.
I understand.
But I feel like, what is qiyam? What is qiyam in English? I'm sorry, I was thinking. It is dal. My values list. I think every person has different values, and you should know what are the values that motivates you, and what are the values that you work based on it. For me, like honesty is a very big value for me, to be honest, and that's thing in entrepreneurship world that doesn't even exist, because people just like glorify every stupid step. This is the second time I say stupid. I didn't mean it.
No, it's fine.
They glorify every small step, and like they build all this bubble around it that has no
foundation.
no
meaning.
foundation, no
Yeah.
meaning.
Yeah.
So it was honesty for me. Like I like to work in. I want to work in areas where what I'm giving is what I'm building. What I'm saying I'm building is what is the result that you are taking.
Right.
And I can guarantee that for you. So I think people should get deep into themselves and know what are their values, and how it's motivate, like how it's really help them throughout the road.
That is a very tricky thing, to know who you are, right? And it can take your whole life to really understand, to know yourself, to get to know yourself. So I think there is so much wisdom in that, to really understand who you are. What are your values? Because I think, we spend so much time trying to be somebody else, trying to be like people around us, trying to be like that person on Instagram, trying to follow somebody else to an extent where we lose our own sense of self. What do I stand for? What do I actually want? Or what am I doing? Am I really doing it because this is something I want to? Or am I doing it because of the peer pressure? Am I doing it because everybody else is doing it and it looks cool and people, congratulate you, people, you want to impress people with.
And that's the case in
Yeah.
entrepreneurship world. Like
Exactly.
people just clarify, leave your 9 to 5, go found your own project, work for yourself, and it is good. Okay, like this is good, but the other board is not so easy. The other side of the board is not so opening or like that easy to follow. It really needs a lot of times and effort. Like now I've after I left Memoria, I worked with different two startups. So now I work with startups, but I'm not the founder. So all the hustle of founders is not on me. I put a rule into my, and I put a lot of rules to my life, that I will not go back as a founder of startups until I know that I have a financial stability, mental stability, and the good environment to handle it. Because if you don't have those 3 things, it will really eat you day by day, and you won't even notice it. Because like you said, people will congratulate you, people will come to you and say, oh my god, you are founder, you are doing this on your own, and you start seeing yourself in those people's eyes, but those people's eyes are not the reality all the time.
Exactly. And also, it feels very cool to add co-founder in your bio, right? It felt very good to me. So, I wouldn't lie.
Entrepreneur.
Exactly. It feels very good, because we are seeking that validation, right? External validation, because we ourselves, we feel empty. So we need somebody else to, validate us. So validate what we are doing, validate your beliefs, right? But this brings me back to my previous point. For you as a person, what did you do to really understand yourself, understand your values, understand what you stand for?
Well, therapy. It had a big area in my life for the past 3.5 years, and not quitting. Like it is okay when things go bad. It's good to leave, but at the same time, it's good to understand that the bad things will keep happening to you. The same test will keep testing you until we learn your lesson. So leaving is not always the real answer. You have to stay sometime. You have to stay in order to understand its problem affecting you this bad, because it's just a problem, because it's just an obstacle, it's just a challenge, and you have to like be more powerful in facing it, or because it's triggering something in you. And if it's the second one, leaving is not really the answer. Staying and working on that problem is more I feel more understandable approach, and that's what would really push therapy into really good areas. Because like I have problem with this person or with this area of my life, instead of like leaving it or like working on something else. No, okay, I have this problem. I start with I go back to my therapist and tell her about this, and she helps me like understand or unfold the different aspects behind this problem. So I think it was not hiding. I always say like I keep pushing or I keep existing, not just like go home and stay in my bed. No, I keep existing, and during in this journey I try to fix or not fix like try to understand what is happening to me with my therapist, and with dua, I think, because like you know, like in Islam, we believe that shifa or being healthy is not something is not something that happens to you because like we're taking medicines. Shifa or being healthy comes from God, and even psychologically, it comes from God. So you have to okay, you have to do the job. You have to do everything you know you can do it in order to reach there. But at the same time, you have in your heart to understand and be really. You have to have a very big yaqeen that it's from God. He is the one that will like make this part more easier. So I think that's what was it. I'm still on the path. Like I don't see myself reaching maybe anytime soon, except if God like opened it for me, granted it for me. But I think that the idea is to stick. Understand is the problem or the challenge you're facing because it's just a challenge or because it's triggering something in you, and you have to do the work, I think.
Right. So apart from therapy, what else helped you? Is there any books you'd recommend? Any seminars, courses?
It's not like the therapy that I've been in. It was talkative, and it was more that she calls it art therapy. Like you use art, drawings, and like in order to really understand you. Because like therapy is 99% understand it just and understand the parts of you and accepting them. That's it. Like you understand why you are. Acting the way you are acting, and you accept that you are acting this way, and you like try to change it. That's that in its core. Of course, at the fact there was a lot of podcasts that I listened to, a lot of doctors. There's is Iraqi doctor. His name is Abdurrahman Zakir. He had a very big heart. Like I really listened to his because like he just doesn't tell you doesn't talk about Islam in a general way. He really take every part of you and explain it. Like you are perfectionist, okay? You are a perfectionist person. He told you he explained to you perfectionism come from what. Because like he's a doctor and he's a doctor in psychology, not psychology, he's psychiatrist, and helps you understand if you don't work on your perfectionism, it can lead to shirk and it can lead to like being far from God and all these things that we glorify, like when we connect our identity to work, it's not a good thing because like. God really Allah gave us very easy way. Like he wants from us only two things. He wants us to do ibadah, and he wants us to like construct these lands. And that amal ard or constructing lands is a very general idea. You can do it in a very different ways. He didn't say to us you have to study architecture, you have to study medicine, you have to study lawyer, you have to study law in order to be a good person. He didn't put those rules for us. Like community did it. He really gave us a very general rules to live on.
They say women entrepreneurs face invisible walls. What was the hammer you used to break through?
Well, it has its negative areas and it has a positive one. I think, and this can be like different from the general knowledge, that being a woman really helped me in my entrepreneurship, because like people are not expecting from me to like build a house or like build a family or just like to provide to a family. This is not my job in our communities. So, well, it's not my job. I can do whatever I want by the time that I have. That's what pushed me, that give me the ability and the privilege to work in entrepreneurship. Because like working in this world is a privilege. Not everyone every person have the ability to like ditch everything and work on their dreams and projects. So I think being a woman was really a privilege for me in this world, in this entrepreneurship world, because like people are not expecting from me to build any wealth, because like unfortunately in our societies, men are the one who are expected to do that. Well, today, okay, I think I think differently now, but at that time it helped me to follow my dreams and build my projects. Other thing is the general idea, yes, women, you need to push more in order to make your voice hearable in the room. You have to use certain like vocabularies, because like in my case, I always use the well, I feel like I feel that we should do this. I feel we should. I feel we shouldn't do this. And this vocabulary really impacted me in a bad way, because people start to see that Zeina thinks emotionally, but it's just a vocabulary. It's just like except the saying I think that we should do this. I feel. So it's where it goes down to the everyday words you use. You have to be more careful. You have to push more. You have to understand that sometimes you think something or you feel something and it's true. Like I had this feeling about some of our mentors in the beginning that they were not very good impacts over our project, but because I was young, because I was a woman, because I had no experience, all people around me were saying no, it's good, and everybody were glorifying these mentors. I didn't say anything and I didn't act on it, because like, okay, they know better. But day by day you start to understand or to listen to your intuition and like follow it. And people see that in women as a maybe a negative way, but I feel it's a really powerful, like we have a natural feelings in us that tell us that this thing is not good. This is superpower. It's not something to be ashamed of.
I want to go back to a point you mentioned. You said you used to think that making wealth is only men's role or men's responsibility. Has that belief changed over the years?
Yes, because like the ability to make money, I think it's a skill that we need to learn in a very young age in order to work or live or just like be in life. And us not having this skill, especially like maybe in the Middle Eastern world, and really just like relying on traditional jobs or parents in general, really impact that we don't know how to build the successful business models. We don't know how to build profitable projects outside the traditional one. And that's what makes us, I feel, like back in all the innovative sectors, because like we don't know how to make money. Nobody ever teach us how to make it. And I feel it's a skill that you need to learn, whether everybody should learn. So it's a skill that need to be learned in order to make your projects as successful. Like I said, because of my own pain and because of my own inability to make my project work or project, by the way, Midani is still on, but I'm not with it. Okay. And because of my inability to make my project run, and I worked with different entrepreneurs who then too have the same pain, I feel I really want to learn how to help people move on from the 0 point to the 1 point in order to achieve their dreams. Nowadays, because of the pain that I felt as a founder, my inability to really build my project, and the pain that I felt in other founders whom I worked with in the past 2 years, I really want to learn how we can help founders move on from point 0 to point 1 and build their MVP or build their prototype of their projects and test it in the in the markets, especially like this is something that in the entrepreneurship world nobody talks about in the Middle East. That most of our projects are bootstrapped. People put their own money or their own savings on it. We don't have the mindset or the mentality of like fundings and VCs helping us building those projects, maybe in the GC area, but not in the Levantine area or in our societies. So I really want to help people. Don't feel the pain that we felt before. Do not lose all their money and be in a very bad situation with all the people they are surrounding themselves with, because like they didn't know how to build the initial MVP or the initial prototype that can help them test their idea in the market. I really want to learn how to do that, and I think some of my experience until today helped me, but I still have a more road in front of me to learn. And to do that, you really need to be with people, and that's why you need to, like, I need to work with companies, with people, with mentors who have been there, who have seen that. That's why I think that's what we were talking about before the episode. That's why it's important to be an employee for some point of time in your life to be able to accumulate the experience that can help your passion, that can help your motive or your mission in life. That's what I'm trying to do right now, to learn how to move people, to help people move from, especially people who like are from who are bootstrapping their projects from 0 to 1, to help them build their MVP. That's what I want to learn and help others do.
And do you think after you learn this, would you ever think of going back to being an entrepreneur?
I told you before, I will go back to being an entrepreneur when I have financial stability, when I have mental stability, and when I have the know-how to do it. Because it's a really, really ugly world and a really hard world, and you need to have the right... or maybe I can go if I had a good idea. I don't know.
Right. So as they say never, right?
Yeah, because like before I came here today, I was like thinking about how I don't have a knowledge management system personally. Like I read a lot, I attend a lot of like seminars, workshops, but I really don't have a system where I like can go back to when I want to
document everything, right?
Document everything. We just like we just consume knowledge, but we don't know how to move it forward or to produce something from it. So I think it's good to have a system that person management system. So I will like think about it. I think maybe I can go back. I don't know.
You wear many hats in your current role. You said you do sales, marketing, product management. I'm just curious to know, how do you incorporate AI tools in your workflow? Because we spoke a few months ago. You said you were working on some automations using AI agents and stuff. So I just want to know more how exactly do you do that?
So at the time that we were talking with, I was just a user, an AI user. I used to like learn how to automate our marketing department, how to automate our content distribution department in the startup that I was working with. And like I build agents, GPTs to help me in this road. But today I work with an AI solution startup. We build the solutions or the products that help others like in their pain points. So today I think I moved on from being a good user of AI to be in the process of producing AI tools. And I say it's process because it is a process that have many teams in it, not just one person. So yeah, I use AI a lot as a user, but I want in today, and that's what spoke the knowledge system in me. I want to understand how can I use AI without being just a consumer to AI, to just lose myself or my ability to research, to think, to produce without AI. So today we are not, I think today we are not in the phase of how to use AI, what to use in AI tools, how to use AI. The question, how can we use AI without losing our human touch in everything? This is one. Two, I think because I'm working in the AI world, I think there's a very big bubble surrounding AI, and that is not very real now today.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the technology is real, the models that they are developing, it's real, but the wrappers or the projects or the solutions that are being built around these models are really very bubbly.
Yeah, very mediocre. Because there is too much hype, for sure. You know, there is a lot of
The hype.
and in fact, you know, I was reading this report last week where it was a call center company. They replaced their call center agents with AI, and their business dropped by 58%, right? So there is so much hype. I mean, it is a promising technology, and you know, I work in IT consulting, I work in cybersecurity consulting. There are use cases which, you know, AI can do at the moment, but still it's too early. It's too early for mass adoption, especially in the enterprise world. Yes, you know,
That's
for
right.
you for me as an individual, maybe to, you know, while I was making questions for this podcast, I did use ChatGPT to brainstorm, for sure. But when it comes to implementing AI in an enterprise environment, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It's extremely complicated. So the solutions which we have right now, they're not there yet.
Even the small ones, like building a chat agent, okay?
Yeah.
In theory, when you say chat agent, okay, it's so easy. You build it, you wrap some model with it, and you just build the interface, and voila, it's ready. No, it's not. Like in our company, we spend more than 7 months building the chat agent. It didn't happen in a day and a night, and it's just not like wrapping something that is successful and presenting it in a different way. So we move into the idea that building with AI is not really there yet, and it needs times. It needs people who are a whole teams. So you don't need only the AI engineer. You need the software architect. You need the product manager. You need the marketeer. You need the salesperson, the tech sale. You need the software developers in order to build this product. And this whole team, the coordination, the drawing, the solution itself, it needs time. So just like you said, it's just like a hype.
True.
And that needs a lot of years to, like, not a lot of years, maybe 2 or 3 years to like really be ready for enterprise use.
Right. So do you guys train your own AI models, or how does it work?
No, we use
Okay.
you use ready AI models.
Okay, but you have your own data sets.
Yes.
Okay.
So nowadays, we are working on one of our pains, and we go back, like all startups should come from pain, not just from an idea. After like COVID, you see how the educational system started to drop, and the effectiveness of education all the world. Students are less engaged, teachers have a lot of pressures, parents are really not in the process, they just see the end year marks, and schools have a lot of to deal with. So we were thinking about how we can like use AI to make the learning and teaching process more engaging and effective for all the stakeholders, for the parents, for the school, the management, for the teachers, and for the students. And now we are building a learning management system, LMS, with AI that has its own agents that can help all these stakeholders make the learning and teaching process more engaging and effective and personalized. So that's what we are working on, and believe me, it's a very hard process. We go back into like drawing the solution, understanding its architecture, having the right team players to develop this project. It needs time, and in our societies, we lack a lot of talents and human resources that can help build this project. And that's in fact one of my motives to stay in this project, because I want us as Muslim youth to be able to build these projects, to have the know-how I can build tech projects, tech solutions using AI. That's what we are working on nowadays.
What's a belief you held 5 years ago which you no longer believe?
Uh, that if you work hard, you can reach. You can reach whatever you want. Like me, working hard should be a solid reason for God to grant me what I want. That was my belief, and that was the core of my struggles back then. That no, that doesn't need to. You need to work smarter. You working hard is not really the core of like being successful. Is working smarter, and by working smarter, I mean you have to detach your emotional identity, your emotions, your identity from the projects or the products that you are developing. You have to be able to see them as a separate things that I want to develop. In order to be able to see how can I work smarter in developing this. So I think my only belief, that I don't believe it nowadays, that working hard should like grant me the success, because no, this is not the case. You need to work smarter. You need to like see the market, what is wants, because like I really liked architecture. I'm a big nerd when it comes to architecture and urban design and everything around it, but the market nowadays don't really have so much spots for architects. Like the demand is very low and the number of architects are very high. So this is a fact in the market, and me working hard about it doesn't grant me access to that market just because I worked hard. So this is the idea. Like I stopped thinking that working hard should grant me success, and I started thinking that calming down, taking a breath, analyzing the needs of the market, believing in God, believing in His ability to like, in God's will to like navigate us to the right road. That's what grants success, and that success doesn't need to be only one image you have. The only one image you have. It can be different things, and you should let it be different things in order for you to enjoy the road and in order for you to continue, because you don't always reach your dreams.
But this is a very important point you made, balancing between what you like and what the market reality is. Sometimes we are so invested into this idea of, okay, this is my passion, this is what I want to do. But sometimes that is not the best strategy. Sometimes following your passion is the worst advice you can get. Because, we see everybody on the internet shouting, follow your passion, follow what you love. Sometimes you have to do things you don't love. Sometimes you have to do things which you're not really so passionate about. So I think that's also very
sometimes
common.
you have to like let the life give you your passions.
Exactly. And you can't really know what you're passionate about unless you maybe try a few things, experiment a bit. You think you like something, but in reality you don't. So I think it does take, you have to start experimenting. You have to start, don't be so close-minded. Don't just look at one thing and say, okay, this is my passion. While you haven't really tried the other thing, you haven't tried anything else actually. So how do you know, right?
Yeah. And when you look up to the Muslim scholars, you see how multi-passionate they were. Like they were geniuses in math, but at the same time they like poetry. In the same time they wrote about religion. In the same time they wrote about sociology. So this idea about wrapping your passion in one thing is not really true or real, because like you will be disappointed if things don't work out and your whole identity was only surrounded about this thing.
Exactly. And I mean, Muslim countries or Islamic culture, Islamic history produce so many polymaths, right? And when we look at their output, how much output they had, how much they made, how many, like hundreds of books, and all of those books were written by one scholar, and he was also an expert in philosophy, he was also an expert in poetry. I mean, I think over the time our output has gone down because we have confined ourselves to these boxes, right?
And
I can only be
they
one
were
thing.
not distracted as much as we are
sure.
today, and you only one thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Distraction, of course. Now we are surrounded by distraction. Attention spans have gone down. We can barely watch a 5-second reel now. People need that dopamine hit every few seconds, milliseconds now, in fact. But I still believe that we can. I think we don't really use even 5% of our human potential. Because if those guys could do it, they were humans, right?
Yes.
So can we?
Yeah. And they had less technology,
Exactly. I mean, they had to travel days and years maybe to find books, and books were rare, right? They were not available as now. Now we can search anything.
And it was like different languages, and they didn't have Google Translate. So how did they accumulated the knowledge?
Exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable. I also feel the reason we are so lazy, the reason we don't have so much output compared to those great men in the past, is because it's coming easy to us, right? I can just search anything I want. Where's the effort? Where is that struggle to go and seek knowledge, right? It's not there. So when you don't have to put so much effort into seeking something, into learning something, you would take it for granted, right? Like we do.
Yeah.
So
you can take an MBA like down the streets.
Exactly. There's also something else which I forgot at the beginning. Usually, I like to start my podcast with an icebreaker question. So I would like to ask you icebreaker
We
at the
already
end.
break.
Yeah, we're already past that, but let me still ask you.
Okay.
So I would like to know what purchase of $100 or less that you made has made your life easier.
$100 or less.
Yeah.
Made my life easier. Okay, I'm not going to say the ChatGPT subscription because like it's.
No, it can be. Why not?
I don't know. This is a very deep question, and I'm not a person who purchases a lot of stuff. I'm not a very purchasey person. Like I take my time in everything, purchasing anything. But the ChatGPT subscription did really made my life easier. And maybe like small stuff that are like part of my day to day. Like recently I'm into crocheting, so all the crochet stuff is less than 100 because I wanted to have a hobby that it's away from technology. So it's really to be able to regulate my nervous system. So I think anything that I purchase now that help me in the way to regulate my nervous system, like a book I bought recently, a crochet set, a water bottle that I can take with me and go like have a picnic in the midday with my book. And in fact, what really made my life easier is the notebook and the pen that I pull all my inner thoughts in, because like my therapist taught me this way into expressing your ideas in a very messy way over a piece of paper. That's really made my life easier. This technique really helped me regulate my feelings, my emotions, and to be able to see things in a more clearer eye. It's really amazing what a piece of paper, a pen, and just writing down your thoughts can help you, can make in your life. Just like it's a way of really understanding. I had a teacher back in school. His name is Ihsan. He's one of my mentors. He have passed away unfortunately 2 years ago. He always told us how like writing in itself is like shouldn't be, or just like I know what I'm going to write. I'm writing. In itself, writing is a practice. In itself, writing can like produce something without even you knowing what you're writing. So I think this is what really changed my life.
Wonderful.